Hi, the internet. Welcome to the What Else Show. I'm your host, Robert. This is Bethany.
Hi, internet.
And today we've got a brand new What Else Show for you. Bethany, what else are we talking about?
Today we are talking about the first episode of Roseanne.
That's right, the first episode of world famous, classic first episode of Roseanne.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Roseanne the series.
So, Roseanne the series. The first episode aired on October 18th, 1988. The last episode aired on May 20th, 1997.
Quite a run there.
Yes. So, 10 seasons, 231 episodes, and it originally aired on ABC.
Right.
And we watched it on Peacock with ads.
Yeah, we watched it on Peacock with ads. I can't say it's the best way to watch it. I think we sat through 3 60-second ads.
It felt like there were so many ads.
60-second ads. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit much.
A bit much, Peacock.
Bit much.
But it was free.
It was free.
So there's that. Who was in Roseanne besides Roseanne Barr, the star?
John Goodman.
John Goodman
Played Dan Connor.
Yeah, he was not well known back then, right?
No.
Now he's like a huge star. Back then he was just the husband on Roseanne.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Darlene, played by Sarah Gilbert. We
Sure.
know Sarah Gilbert. She also went on to do other things too. Becky Alicia Goranson.
Right, and she was replaced with Sarah Chalky later on.
Yes.
And then she was replaced back to the original.
Yes.
Crazy stuff.
Some switching. Lots of crazy stuff went on the show. DJ was played by Sal Barone.
In the very first episode only.
Only the first episode.
Right, because they changed him to Michael Fishman. I don't know
Yes.
why. There's probably a reason.
Sure, there's a reason.
There's probably a
yes.
or not. Maybe his parents wanted to get him out of acting. Smart parents.
Right.
Maybe they're
right.
just good parents.
And of course, Laurie Metcalf.
Yeah, Laurie
as
Metcalf
Jackie.
as Jackie.
Yes.
And she was just like the crazy sister, but now she's like a big
She's
star.
in her own right.
Yeah, and a great actress.
She is fantastic.
She really didn't get to stretch her wings on that show, I don't think.
No, not really.
It's just too wacky.
Really pigeonholed her into just being kind of the zany sister.
Yeah. We know Roseanne came back for a 10th season. There's a lot of stuff that happened, and I don't care.
Yeah.
They came back for a 10th season, and then they got rid of Roseanne, and now it's the Connors, and that might still be on or might not. I don't care.
Yeah.
Didn't watch it.
Yeah, we just watched the first episode of the original run.
Right.
The 1988 premiere episode.
Yeah, the 9 seasons. Oh, shit. We said 10 seasons earlier? It was 9 seasons in the original run.
No, it's 10. Technically, it was 10 seasons because it was like October to May.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the because
It's like 9 or 10 seasons.
something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Bethany's not the greatest at the internet.
Nope.
It's because it was only invented like 40 years after she was born. So
Shut up.
how is she supposed to know how to use it?
I know. I'm just an old lady trying to figure out how to use the internet.
Now ask her how to use a steam engine, then she'll.
Yes,
then
I'm
she'll
all
show you.
over that.
What's your history with Roseanne?
I never watched the first season, but I definitely watched it at my friend's house pretty regularly.
Pretty regularly?
Yes.
Yeah, I can remember this being appointment television for me as a child. And I remember when it came into syndication, I also watched it then. So I've seen it a lot. I have a hard time remembering any of the episodes. Do you remember any of the episodes?
I do.
What happened? When?
I remember there's one episode where Dan beat up Becky's boyfriend.
Was it the boyfriend from the show? What's the boyfriend's name? Becky's boyfriend. Mark.
Mark.
Was it Mark from the show or a different boyfriend?
I don't remember if it was Mark or not. I just remember Dan going to jail.
Oh.
He went to jail for beating up her boyfriend. Oh, there was an episode where Roseanne thought she was pregnant. I just remember highlights, bits and pieces.
I can remember, what's his name from Big Bang Theory? His name was David in the show?
David on the show, yeah.
They caught David and Darlene in the basement, and I believe Dan hit David, like slapped him like on the way out. I can remember that.
Yeah.
Dan gets very violent with people in this show, doesn't he? Yeah.
He does.
But that's what I can remember. And I only remember the piece of that episode, and then I remember one of the episodes where David and Mark are brothers.
Yes.
The boyfriends, and they're dating sisters.
Yes.
And their mother is not a good person, and Roseanne invites David to come live at their house. and Dan is apprehensive about it because he's dating Darlene, and that was an episode.
Yes, that was an episode.
But he ends up living there anyways.
He does, yeah.
Who cares what Dan thinks?
Yeah, he does.
And that's one of the episodes that I remember, but that was like way later in the series.
Yes.
We're talking about the first episode here.
Yes.
But let's get down to what happens in this very first episode.
The very first episode, right away the intro starts.
The intro starts, yeah. There's it's not a cold open, right into the intro.
Yes. Let's talk about the intro. Great intro.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's harmonica music, and they spin in a circle.
It's very bluesy. The camera pans around the table. You
kind of get an idea for the relationship and the people on the show, but that's about it. It's not groundbreaking.
But it's
fine.
It's kind of would you say it's an iconic intro?
I would say it's a classic intro.
A classic. Iconic intro. Yeah, maybe classic's a better word for it.
And I think people of the time remember it, but I don't think new people I don't think it's referenced to that much.
No, I don't think it is. No. But you kind of see them interacting a little bit in the intro, and you see DJ, he pushes Darlene, and you kind of see a little bit of they're not the Cleavers,
They're the
table's a mess. The house is kind of messy.
The children and Dan and Roseanne are very young in this first episode.
They are,
opposed to where they get later on in the series.
Yeah,
I was shocked to see how young everybody was, and shocked to see that DJ wasn't DJ. Yeah. DJ is such a little kid in this intro that I'm like,
so little.
Is that the original DJ?
We weren't sure.
Different?
We weren't sure.
So we open up in the Connors kitchen.
Yes.
Roseanne and Dan Connor.
Yes.
And they're making breakfast.
Yes.
Dan comes in and asks, is there coffee? They go about Roseanne's there's always coffee. Why do you ask that all the time?
They have a little bit of back and forth.
Right. They're it's like a playful jab with each other. And what I noticed in this show is that the whole time they're doing a playful jab with one another, and Roseanne and Dan make fun of the kids a lot.
They do.
But the kids don't quite... they're kids, so they're not jabbing back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're just picking on the kids, which is interesting. In this first episode, anyways.
Yeah.
Into breakfast, Becky has a problem. She needs a new backpack. Darlene has a problem. She needs Roseanne to go to the school after work. Dan does not have a job because he works construction, so he works by project. And Roseanne wants him to fix the sink. Yes. Okay. I think that's the end of that scene.
That's pretty much.
Do you know what I remember in this scene?
Go ahead.
After the kids go to school, there's still a whole giant pile of toast.
The toast.
Yeah, there's at least 8 pieces of toast to go between Dan and Roseanne.
Piled high on a plate.
Yeah. That's what I noticed.
Okay, so the next scene is Roseanne talking to her boss.
Oh, her boss, who is George
Clooney.
Yeah, we see a young, skinny, tall, pre-ER George Clooney.
Yes.
And he seems taller in this. I think maybe because he's thinner.
Maybe.
He just seems tall, and he's got wavy hair.
Yeah, he's got real dark, swoopy, wavy hair.
Yeah, I kind of always forget that George Clooney is in Roseanne.
Yes, he plays the boss.
The boss at the plastic factory.
The plastics factory, yes. And so she is trying to convince him to let her leave work early so that she can go to the school to meet with Darlene's teacher.
Exactly.
And so they have an interaction, and he finally agrees.
Yeah, he gives her a hard time, but she wants an hour. He gives her a half an hour. We see Roseanne interact with her work friends, and they're talking about training men. And they use a donut for an example. I didn't really like this part. I don't know. It just didn't... I didn't connect with it. Probably because she's making fun of men. I'm a man. How dare she?
And see, I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It feels real Lifetime channel, if you know what I mean.
Interesting. Yeah. And it is just the first episode, so they're just finding their legs with the humor and the jokes.
But we see some of Roseanne's coworkers, and she works with her sister Jackie.
Yes, and we see Crystal and Jackie, who are recurring characters
that I remember.
Yeah. Yep. So they're working, and then the next scene is Roseanne at Darlene's school.
Right. Roseanne gets to Darlene's school to talk to the teacher, history teacher. And Roseanne is 15 minutes late, so the teacher had already given up on her. And the teacher just seems like a jerk, and she's telling Roseanne she needs to spend more time with Darlene because she's barking in class. And Roseanne says, when you asked her to stop barking, did she stop? And she said, yeah. And she's like, okay, there's not a problem then.
Right.
Yeah.
The teacher really seemed like a real jerk.
Well, she's dealing with kids barking in class, but yes, she did seem like a jerk.
She seemed like such a jerk.
Not personable.
Not at all. So the next scene...
Not good with kids.
Apparently not. So the next scene is now them back at home.
Darlene says she's barking in class because her teacher is boring, and we don't get anything else out of that, right? She just says stop barking, and she's like, okay, fine. She gets the new backpack for Becky.
Yes.
Dan comes in with a piece of his boat. I remember Dan building a boat in his garage, but I don't remember anything in the series that... Like he made a boat.
I don't either.
It always stayed in the garage, or he died. He died in the series, and they wrote it off like it never happened. In the
spoilers
in the later episodes.
Yeah, I don't remember much about the boat either.
Yeah, I remember there being a boat. I just don't remember the end of the boat. Dan comes in. He's supposed to be fixing the sink, but he was hanging out with a friend helping him fix a car. And Roseanne's mad about that, so they have a fight about Dan not doing things around the house. And
I think Roseanne just feels like unappreciated,
right,
for all the stuff that she does, because she had to leave work early to go to the school, and then
they have a fight. But it's still like not a fight. It's still kind of playful a little bit, but it's also serious.
Yeah.
So it's a weird balance. They probably shouldn't do that. I don't think it will help their relationship. They should probably be in a fight and not
either be in a fight or don't be in a fight.
Right.
Yeah. However, I did feel like they had great chemistry.
Yeah, they do have good chemistry.
Yeah.
This first episode is a little weird because I don't think they're really acting towards each other that much. They're kind of like making jokes for someone else who's watching.
Right.
You get that feeling?
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's a first episode thing or like a whole series thing.
Yes.
I don't really remember.
I don't remember either. I would need to watch more episodes. So they have this fight, and then Dan finally gets mad and says, fine, I'll make dinner. And he starts making like a ridiculous dinner with like a huge can of corn. And she's like, no, I'll just do it. It's fine. And then in the other room, we hear Becky like screaming, and she says,
Darlene cut her finger off.
Darlene cut her finger off. And so there's this moment where, Roseanne and Dan, they just jump into action. They grab Darlene, they take her into the kitchen, and they dress her wound, and it's not as serious as Becky made it sound.
And I think in that instance, they come together to know that like, oh, we need to work together to have this family be okay.
Yeah.
And that kind of ends their fight. Right.
It does, yeah. If it brings their fight to an end, and so then Roseanne starts making dinner and Dan starts fixing the sink.
Right. And that's where the credits come in.
Yes.
And then there's an after credits scene where Dan is in the garage working on the boat.
Yes.
And Roseanne comes to bring him, I assume, a hot beverage. It's in a mug.
Cup of coffee or something. Yeah.
It's a little late for coffee.
Maybe some hot cocoa?
Maybe.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Maybe
it's a mug of something.
Maybe it's a cold beverage in a mug.
I don't know. I don't know.
Why are we even speculating? It doesn't make any sense.
It's meaningless. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No, please. What else could it possibly be?
Stupid beverage rabbit hole.
No, tell us.
No, continue. Please continue.
Well, let's do the math. There were no marshmallows in there, so it obviously can't be hot cocoa. No whipped cream.
Okay, I'm sorry.
In this scene, Dan talks about when the boat is finished, they're going to be sailing it around the world and whatnot. And Roseanne's like, no, that doesn't sound good to me.
Yep.
And then it's really just a conversation to show that they are still romantically interested in each other.
Yeah, they kind of flirt a little.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
That's it. That's the end of the first episode of Roseanne.
Yeah.
Pretty short, pretty sweet. Not a whole lot of plot, right? Just a lot of jokes.
A lot of jokes, kind of introducing us to the kids a little bit. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun.
I definitely want to watch more. Not on Peacock, but if I could get a hold of more episodes where I wouldn't have to sit through so many advertisements, I really want to watch more episodes because I want to see how my memory of the show differs from how I would experience the show now as a grown-up.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't care enough to want to see more.
Would you recommend this episode?
Would I recommend people watch this episode?
As a first episode.
As the first episode, I think it works, but I don't think this first episode is going to blow you away. You had to be in that time for this first episode to be different than everything else on television. And now it's not different than everything else on television.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not as edgy as it used to be. So it's not even close to edgy by today's standard. Here's what I get from watching this first episode as an adult, right? They are constantly making fun of their kids as like, ugh, you're like a burden on us. And they're constantly making fun of each other as like, ugh, I should have never married you, right? Yeah. But they're like constantly complaining about it. But like when you really think about it, it's like you guys made your own bed.
Right.
You had these 3 kids. And
they did it to themselves.
And you knew that this was going to burden you. But you did it anyways.
You did it anyway.
You're staying married to each other, so shut up.
Yeah, so maybe it takes a little bit of the fun out of those jokes. Maybe.
Yeah, as an adult.
As an adult.
Right.
Yes. As a kid watching these, episodes for the first time.
I mean, it's still funny. Just don't think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't really apply logic to it.
No.
Don't apply logic to the show.
Do you have anything else to say about the first episode of Roseanne?
I do not.
Let me mention this before we leave. And there's really nothing to mention but Jackie's hair.
Oh, Jackie's hair.
Jackie's hair is just...
Crazy town.
Just bonkers.
She's the craziest hairstyle. Like...
It's real poofy and curly, and I don't remember that being a sign of the times. I think it's just... And I don't know that they're specifically doing it like that so that she could be like the wacky sister, but her hair is... It's bonkers.
I feel like maybe they did do that on purpose.
You think so?
Like she's just kind of frazzled all the time.
Look at her. She's the wacky sister. Look at that hair.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I feel like we needed a visual cue.
I wish I knew.
Take us out.
Thanks for watching, Internet. You can follow the show on Twitter at What Else Show. We're also on Instagram at The What Else Show. Please like, subscribe, and share on YouTube. And if you remember Roseanne or like Roseanne or hate Roseanne, let us know in the comments. Bye, Internet.
Bye, Internet.
Do you remember
a lot. I watched it a lot.
Okay. Let's move on.
Okay, sorry. I'll work on that. Okay. You just did it.
I went, totally different because I was about to say an A word and then you cut me off. Thank you very much. At a glance, Jesus, I was not about to say that.